we're looking at really supercharged immigration enforcement, but these changes are not going to happen overnight. And there are some real obstacles that ICE and the border agents are going to face in trying to turn these dollars into action.
You're watching The Big Deal. This week, we are kicking off a new series focused on President Trump's tax and spending bill, which he signed into law last Friday. The legislation includes a wide range of tax breaks and spending cuts. It also pours billions of dollars into other Republican priorities, including national defense and deportations. Now, over the next few weeks, we will take a closer look at what exactly is in the bill and how it could affect local communities that we all live in. We start today with immigration. The new law gives the Trump administration $170 billion to drastically expand America's border enforcement and deportation infrastructure. That includes billions to operate immigration detention centers, ICE, and immigration courts, as well as finishing a wall on the southern border, to name just a few items. Joining me now to talk more about all of this is Kathleen Bush-Joseph. She is a lawyer and policy analyst at the Migration Policy Institute. That's a Washington-based nonpartisan think tank. She specializes in removal proceedings, asylum, and refugee law. And thanks for being with us. Let me ask you first, ICE specifically is going to receive $75 billion to operate over the next 5 years. That includes $45 billion for detention facilities, about $30 billion for other operating costs. And I guess just to put it in perspective, ICE is going to have more funds than any other federal law enforcement agency has ever had in U.S. history, and that includes the FBI, the Marshal Service, and the Bureau of Prisons. How are they going to spend all of that much money?
Thanks for having me on today, Errol. I think it's important to start out by saying that based on the figures you outlined, we're looking at really supercharged immigration enforcement, but these changes are not going to happen overnight. And there are some real obstacles that ICE and the border agents are going to face in trying to turn these dollars into action. So some of those challenges include hiring people, coming up with contracts for new detention facilities. And then there are also questions about how other countries will react. Are they prepared to receive many, many more people as deportations ramp up?
Right. Well, I mean, when it comes to the number of I guess 10,000 is the number they've put out there for ICE agents that they want to hire. And I imagine that's going to require recruiting and vetting and onboarding and training, and all of that is going to take some time, isn't it?
That's right. ICE has about 7,000 deportation officers right now, and it's actually already struggling to hire for the positions that are currently funded. So a massive increase is going to be difficult, but the bill did come with some money to try to help with that, money for retention, for bonuses. And so we'll have to see how, over the course of the next few years, they're going to try to widen that pool of recruits.
Now, the bill also includes increases in fees for immigrants. They're now going to have to pay $100 for asylum applications. That used to be free. For temporary protected status, applications are going to cost $500. That's up from $50. Now, by definition, a lot of these people are fleeing disasters or wars. They're arriving here penniless. Are these fees a way to deter certain people from applying in the first place?
I think that is one of the motivations here. And, there's also been this challenge where there have been record high numbers of asylum filings. The US currently has 3.3 million pending asylum applications right now. So part of this reflects how the US immigration system is outdated. And this is an attempt at responding to some of these recent events.
The White House is trying to use this funding to expand immigration courts, as a matter of fact, that are trying to deal with that huge backlog you just described. The law, though, caps the number of immigration judges at 800. Is that enough to deal with a backlog of millions of cases?
Analysts have predicted that it would take far more funding and many hundreds more judges to work through the backlog over the course of a decade, absent major changes. So this cap on judges doesn't look like it will be a measure that will help with working through that backlog. I should add quickly, though, that the Trump administration is actually trying to avoid that backlog by quickly deporting people without court hearings. But that practice is being challenged in a number of lawsuits, a couple of which just had hearings yesterday. So we'll have to see how those go.
Okay. And then meanwhile, of course, the bill provides more than $46 billion to complete President Trump's border wall. Is that necessary right now, though? I understand the number of people crossing the border is at a historic low.
Preliminary data show that about 6,000 people came to the border last month, and that is an historic low. And there's this, you could say, mismatch between the large amount of funding that is going to the border and the number of people that are currently arriving. But again, I think some of this is just responding to those record high levels of arrivals that happened over the course of the past few years. Now, the Trump administration's challenge is going to be to see how it can use that money to facilitate its mass deportations in the interior of the country.
And to the extent that all of this money is kind of washing around and it's going to take time for it to work its way through the system, is there going to be pressure from states to maybe reallocate it somewhere along the way?
Absolutely. There is money in the bill for states increasing their enforcement efforts where states want to be cooperating with ICE. We've seen the so-called alligator Alcatraz from Florida, and then other states talking about trying to match those efforts. On the other hand, you have states that are resisting and they're putting forward money for legal defense for immigrants who are facing deportation. And you have other states contemplating how they can continue to sue to challenge the Trump administration's mass deportation effort.
Okay, sounds like there'll be a lot more to talk about in the future. Thank you so much, Kathleen Bush-Joseph.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching our YouTube channel. Let Spectrum News be your resource for balanced, in-depth political coverage, and click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV to learn more about the candidates, where they stand on the issues, and more. We'll see you then.